How's it going, everybody? My name is Joshua Stanton. I am the mortgage dude, and I am back again to show a simulation of my most recent client that has closed with the all-in-one loan. So if you don't know about the all-in-one loan, this is a mortgage product. And I'll tell you the two reasons why I'm so bullish on this product. So number one, interest works differently with this loan. This is a recasting interest schedule, which allows people to pay off their mortgage ultra fast. Every time you put money into this thing, 100% of that money goes to principal reduction. There's no other loan like that in America. The interest moves downwards with the principal recasting, and I'm going to get into more details about that. But the second part of the mortgage that I love is a home equity line of credit type of situation. So with this mortgage, any money you put into it stays liquid over the life of the loan. So you can go and take it back out just like a checking account if you have an emergency or if you have an asset that you want to buy or whatever it is. You can just take your money right back out. It's your money, it's your equity. So I love it because this is mortgage freedom. And really, when you're able to take out the liquidity whenever you want, or the equity, I should say, whenever you want, that liquid money, I think that really takes out a lot of the risk of paying off a mortgage quickly. So let's get into it. And I'm going to show you an example of Mr. Lee, Dr. Lee, I should say. We built this page for obvious reasons because the all-in-one loan is absolutely different than any other mortgage you've ever seen in your life. We needed to have something to compare and contrast this loan to other people's more conventional type loans to help with the understanding of the product and just show them how it works. Also, we've plugged in the last 25 years of movement with the index that we use for the interest rate to show people what it can do when the interest rate fluctuates. Because just like normal HELOCs, it does have a adjustable rate, but I'll show you why I don't think that's scary whatsoever because of the fact that this product has recasting interest. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to go through this pretty darn quick, but let me know. You can get in touch with me if you have any questions, if you'd like me to run a simulator with your particulars. I love to do it. I do it every day. So, you know, let's go. So let's go ahead and get started. Mr. Lee wanted to compare this loan to his existing loan. He had a really good interest rate on a 30-year fixed loan. But I showed him why this was so much better for someone like him. So intended occupancy, primary residence, for Mr. Lee, Dr. Lee, I should say. His home was worth $750,000. His value was $500,000. Loan type was a 30-year fixed loan. Interest rate was 3.5. His monthly principal and interest payment was about $22.40. He was not making extra payments, and he had been in this mortgage for about 12 months. So here's the deposits page. This is where I ask my customers how much money they take home after taxes, because I want to make 100% of your take-home money work for you 24/7. If you put money into a savings account or checking account or something like that and sits there, you're waiting for your next bill or an emergency or whatever to be due, that money's just dead. It's sitting there, it's actually devaluing with inflation. But I want to show people how to make all of their money work 24/7. So the all-in-one loan works somewhat like a mortgage and a bank account in one. So you flow money in, you flow money out when you need it. But while you don't need that money, it's saving you time and interest on this mortgage. So let's see, Mr. Lee made $15,000 a month per month after taxes. So he does well. He makes a lot of money. One-time deposit, we're going to come back to this. I'm going to leave this blank for now. We'll go on to the next page. This is where I talk to the client about their spending habits, because there are 3 things that you must have in order to qualify for this loan. Number 1, you have to have a 700 credit score or better for most products. Number 2, you have to have pretty good debt to income ratios. You have to cash flow a little bit. It doesn't have to be every month, but on average, you have to cash flow. That cash flow is going to make this thing work. And the third thing is you have to have some liquid assets. And get in touch with me for any more questions you have about all of those things. I'll get into greater detail. So the spending page is where I ask Mr. Lee, how much money you make, the $15,000. This $2,240 comes out of it. That's the mortgage, right? We're trying to figure out what his spending habits are. His estimated taxes and insurance, this is a little high for him. It was $600 a month. Other monthly payments, that's just the rest of his money monthly. But we found that he spent about $7,660 or so on the rest of his lifestyle. That means his travel money, his credit cards, car payment, life insurance policy, all of that stuff, his lifestyle, his financial lifestyle. So just about every month anyways, he had about $4,500 left over, and he was just keeping that in his checking account until something came up, and then he'd spend the money on it. But I told him, hey, I'm going to show you how to make that money work. It's going to save you a ton of time and interest. And he was excited. So let's go ahead and calculate results for this gentleman. And I'm going to scroll down here to rates and assumptions and change a couple things quickly. And talk about the interest rate. So the interest rate is made up of the margin and the index. We do have a 1-month adjustable. This, in my opinion, is the best product to have. Overall, things are cheaper. You can also do a 3-year fixed, then adjustable, or a 5-year fixed, then adjustable. These products are 30-year products. The 1-month adjustable just ends up being cheapest in the long run. So that's what I choose to do, and most of my clients, but you can do a 3 or a 5-year as well. So the interest rate is made up of the margin, 3.5%, plus the index. Right now, it's 1.130%. So right now, the fully indexed rate is 4.630%. Obviously, this index moves around a little bit, and I don't want to show you best case scenario. So that's why our company plugged in the last 25 years of historical movement with the index to show you fluctuation of index, because we do not want to show you best case scenario. We're hoping to show you worst case scenario or something that's realistic. So floor rate, 3.75%. The interest rate cannot go below that. The max rate, 10.630%. The interest rate cannot go above that in this instance. Interest rate environment, I touched on that a little bit, increasing the average. We want to show you what we think is realistic or maybe even worst case scenario by using the last 25 years of historical movement. So for this scenario, what I'm actually showing you is an average interest rate of 5.466%, not 4.630% as a starting rate. Okay? I'm going to look at the historical graph really quickly because I like to explain this rate a little bit. Sometimes people are a little scared of adjustable rate mortgages, but this is a totally different type of adjustable rate mortgage because this loan has recasting interest. This loan can recast every night at midnight. So it really, if you're paying money into this thing, paying it down quickly, the interest is just a fraction of as much as you would pay for a 30-year fixed loan. But this graph helps me out when I'm talking to people as well. So you see over the last 25 years, the 30-year average has been about 5.252. The average 1-year CMT, which is the index that's plugged in for this, is 2.126%. So you can see it fluctuates a lot. It always stays below that fixed rate average though, and sometimes way, way lower. And again, your balance is recasting down, your interest is connected to the balance. So the interest rate doesn't really factor into this thing as much as people may think. So get in touch with me again for more information. I am happy to talk your ear off about that. So let's back out of here and let's go back to the results. So Mr. Lee, initially we worked this thing out and we found that he'd probably pay off his loan if the simulator is accurate and he does what we just simulated. He'd pay off his loan in 7.6 years as opposed to 29 years with his current mortgage. And he'd save somewhere around 185 grand in interest. And then what are you going to do with all your time and money after you have your mortgage paid off, right? And you have this open line of credit that you can always borrow from should you need for whatever you want, more assets or an emergency or anything you want. This is just smart money, you guys. I'm doing more and more of these. People, they are starting to understand that you do not have to have a 30-year conventional loan or any type of conventional amortization, fixed amortization schedule. There are other things out there, and this is the best mortgage I've ever seen. That's why I sell it. So one more thing really quick. Okay, so this was the original simulation, but he told me, well, you know what, I've got some other money that's just sitting in a savings account, because I talked to him about using all of his money in the smartest way possible. And he said he had $50,000 that was just sitting in a Bank of America account doing nothing. It was just a safety net for him. But I told him, hey, if you want to, you can just put that money right in here and, you can still dip into it anytime you want, while you have this thing open. But while you're not using it, it's going to pay off your mortgage really quick and save you time and a ton of money. So he said, okay, that sounds good. I think I'll do that. And he deposited that $50,000 in month one. That's what we're simulating. Again, that $50,000 is still available. Just pulls his balance down and that money's still available. It's liquid, just kind of like a checking account. Okay, and we go back through the spending page and to calculating results again. And so now he's paying off his mortgage in 6.7 years. Okay, so you can see the power of putting money into this thing. It works extraordinarily well. What happens to people is psychologically, when you get into a mortgage like this, for the people that qualify, they're financially minded. They want to pay off things quick and cheap and just spend their money wise. So what happens psychologically is when you see your mortgage going down by huge amounts every single month, you get excited, right? I know that I do. I personally have this mortgage. My wife and I look at it and we're like, awesome, our mortgage statement's coming. We're getting excited for it. So then you find money that's not really working for you in other areas of your life. And if you want to put it in here and accelerate the payoff of your biggest debt, then awesome, go for it. You can always dip into that money if you need it. So I try to go out there every day and show people the best way, in my opinion, to do a mortgage. So this is it, the all-in-one loan. So do get in touch with me if you have any questions. I'm happy to run simulations for you. I'm going to continue to put these videos out and do more simulations of my clients, and we'll go from there. So thank you very much. I really appreciate all your time. It's Joshua Stanton, your mortgage dude, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great one.